if it was done on purpose, which as we've just deciphered, it must have been, why are they doing this? And I don't think many people understand why a brand like Balenciaga would so openly show the world that they are trying to promote pedophilia.
Tell them.
I'll tell them why. So some could argue that they're trying to advertise it and encourage it. Normalize. And that is the case. That is what they're trying to do. But it actually goes a level deeper than that. Satanists, people who worship Satan, believe in karmic retribution. They believe that they can suffer the consequence of lying and tricking you. So the very simple premise is this. If I sell poison apples and I write apples and you come and eat one, I poisoned you. But if I sell poison apples and I have a sign that says apples, they're poison, and you come and eat one, you committed suicide. I haven't murdered you. You've committed suicide.
That's what Satanists believe.
Satanists believe by telling you what they're doing, they don't have any karmic retribution. And the way that Satanists view the world, and when I say Satanists, I genuinely mean people who worship
real
Satan. The people who are in charge of these brands and in charge of the Western world and in charge of the Matrix genuinely worship Satan. When you understand the idea of karmic retribution, you can apply that to so many scenarios. They're doing this with everything. Karmic retribution isn't just about Balenciaga. Let's look at the recent scam of COVID. They made it very clear to you it was bullshit. They made it very clear that the virus isn't going to hurt you.
They made it clear that they didn't listen.
They
disobeyed the mask laws.
Yeah, they made it very clear to you it was all stupid. So that when you still did it, they could say, well,
we showed them
it was dumb, but they did it anyway.
I'm going to drop a very subtle one in there that you probably don't want me to mention. I'm going to mention it anyway. If there was a certain world leader who is playing a role right now, integral to, how can I exactly put this? There is a world leader right now who was playing the role of a hero when in fact he was a villain. Wouldn't it be funny if we publicly gave him an Oscar
for
playing a role?
For acting as something as he isn't.
Now, Google which world leaders have recently been handed Oscars in your face.
It's karmic. This is the whole point. They have to show you what they're doing so that when they're allowed to do it, that they can sit and say, well, they knew what we were doing and they didn't stop us. They were complicit.
Yes.
Complicity is what Satanists believe in. They don't want to outright lie to you and trick you. They have to tell you. This is why the Georgia Guidestones say we're going to reduce the world population.
Welcome back to the Mr. Showtime podcast. In this video, we're going to be talking about what Andrew Tate said about the whole Balenciaga unholy scandal. Now, Balenciaga, the clothing brand, came out with, like a couple of days ago, very unholy, satanic symbolism with pictures posing with kids, with teddy bears dressed in bondage, and unholy satanic imagery. Now, I like what Andrew Tate said about, his takes about what Balenciaga is doing. So Andrew Tate basically said that, the antichrists have made themselves known to the degree that they're no longer hiding what they're trying to do. We've recently seen the whole admission of what the LGBTQ alphabet community is trying to do in terms of brainwashing young impressionable kids in the school system curriculums, right? So basically the Antichrists have now made themselves known. Now, when Andrew Tate said that the brilliance and the genius of what Andrew Tate said is that the Antichrists are now making themselves known to absolve themselves from any responsibility of, any damages. So in other words, if I poison you, but I hide it, if I poison you with an apple, but I trick you into eating that apple, I'm responsible. I poison you. I'm the one who's wrong. But if I present an apple to you, and I tell you that, hey, this apple is poisonous, and then you proceed to eat it anyway, I didn't poison you. You played yourself. That's basically what Andrew Tate was the point of what Andrew Tate was trying to make. Now, Balenciaga and, the whole alphabet community, they're putting this image out there blatantly for you to see. They're not hiding it. But most people will continue to consume and purchase and patronize the clothing brand. They'll still purchase clothes from the clothing brand. Ergo, absolving the Antichrist from the responsibility of basically brainwashing and damaging society. That's basically the point. Now, I would like to reference the Bible. The Bible, please keep up. I'm not trying to bore you, but listen, this is important. This is belangrijk, right? The Bible makes numerous references about how most people will fall from the grace. The Bible, there's a quote in the Bible that says, hey, most people won't see the kingdom of heaven. Now, from what we see from the book of Exodus, when Moses led his people from Egypt to, the promised land, back to Israel, most people lost their way, and they didn't see the promised land. They wandered around the desert for like 40 years. And throughout that journey towards the promised land, many people fall by the wayside. Some of them died, some of them, they lost faith. Some of them even wanted to go back to Egypt because, they said, hey, at least during, while there were slaves in Egypt, at least they were provided, at least it was comfortable compared to the harsh journey that they were undergoing. So they wanted, some of them, they wanted to go back to being slaves in Egypt. Can you believe that? The Antichrist, in 2020, the Antichrist basically told you how ridiculous the COVID lockdowns were. And of course, most people, because, they prefer comfort. Mankind, human nature, we prefer comfort than discomfort. So you were told to, stand 2 meters apart, to wear a slave muzzle, a face mask. And if you didn't comply, you'd lose your job. Ergo, you'd lose ability to support yourself financially or your kids. Now, with that being said, there's some of you watching this, listening to me right now, you're offended because some of you lost family members allegedly due to COVID. And I'm here to tell you that's false. If you're watching me right now and some of your family members died, it wasn't because of COVID. COVID doesn't kill. I know that's what your doctors told you when they came out and said, Mr. Makowski, I'm sorry, we did everything we could, but your grandpa didn't make it. Now, people that are elderly, geriatric people in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, they're an exception to the rule because their immune system is weak. They might have genuinely died to COVID, but it wasn't. But for most people, they didn't die just because of COVID. They die. Ask yourself, if you lost a family member, doctors may have told you it was due to COVID, but it was but I guarantee you they also had like some other disease as well, such as diabetes, hypertension, cardiac arrest, lung cancer, any other medical mishap. It wasn't just because of COVID. Am I lying? Probably not. But you get the idea. They basically told you how silly the COVID lockdown were. Oh, one day, if you take the vaccine, it will make you immune towards getting the virus. But once you took the vaccine, you're still required to wear the mask. But hold on, I thought you said that if I took the vaccine, I no longer need to wear the mask. And then they changed they shift the goalpost saying that, oh, well, you still need to wear the mask because you can still get it. Hashtag trust the science. Oh, well, if, science doesn't change, why does your science, why does Dr. Anthony Fauci's science keep changing? They basically told you, like they basically ran us around in circles, and most people they acquiesced because they were scared of pushing back. And sometime during this year, Joe Biden announced that the COVID is over. Now, if you know viruses don't simply disappear. They may lessen, but they don't just vanish out in thin air. You were played. We were all played. And you fell for it. And you called a lot of us conspiracy theorists. And now that you're proven wrong, what do you say? Crickets. You don't want to give us credit. Because you're sure too ashamed to admit that you were dumb to fall for it. But anyway, coming back to what Andrew Tate said. Andrew Tate is correct. He's right. Knowing there's a saying that goes like this: knowing is half the battle. Right? From here on out, knowing is no longer half the battle. Knowing it doesn't mean anything. Because most people are going to continue to fall for these wokest SJWs, unholy satanic agendas. Knowing is no longer half the battle. It helps, but pushing back, that's what matters. There's no longer half battles. You're going to have to stand tall and together as a unit, as a collective, a huge collective, in high numbers, we're going to have to push back against all of this at once, all together. That's the only way you're going to fight this. Now you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, I'm just going to, recede into my turtle shell and hide, and hopefully a hero will come out. Well, newsflash, there's no hero. All of us, together, combined, pushing back, that's the hero. All of us are going to have to hold hands, stand shoulder to shoulder, and push back against this. I like what Andrew Tate said. He's correct. He's right. The antichrists are making themselves known. Now, they're trying to make it like, they're trying to absolve themselves from the damages by making you fall for it, despite the fact that you know it. Because at that point, when you fall for it, it's going to be on you. At this point, you're going to have to push back. We're going to have to push back against every single one of these wokest, weird shenanigans. That's my take for now. Shout out to Andrew Tate. I like what he said. Let's subscribe and share this video and get yourselves in trouble at work and get fired for sharing such controversial posts. Right? Thanks for watching. Cheers.